So when you're doing these interviews, do you have like, are you preset on your answers? Do you know what they're gonna say? What you're gonna say?
Not
Stuff like
exactly,
that.
but what I have realized is that like it's always been like a part of me, but I've always been really good at talking to any kind of person, like changing my demeanor towards any kind of person I
Yeah,
talk to.
adapt.
Yeah, like when I was a server, especially at my last job when I worked at a bar, a sports bar, I was able to talk to. It didn't matter if you were like a parent with kids, or if you were like having a work party, or if you were like say just a kid on a first date. I was really good at like changing how I talk to you to impress you.
Mm-hmm.
And what I realized, especially when I'm doing these interviews, is that a lot of people are maybe a few years older than me, came from the same kind of schooling background, whatever. So I'm able to find connections real quick. Like I told you, like with my
So
last.
your biggest strength is like communication.
Oh yeah, which is what I think is perfect for marketing.
Yeah, that's actually my biggest weakness. Because for me, when I'm at work, I realize that communication is one of the most important things. Just as I started, when someone gave me a task to do, in my head, I'm saying, okay, I know what you've asked me to do. I'm thinking about how I'm going to do it, and I'll implement it into whatever I'm
Yeah.
doing, right? But what I say is, mm-hmm, okay.
Oh god.
And it comes off as like dismissive,
Yeah.
right? So
I mean, sorry. It also helps that every job I've had since I started working when I was 15 years old, in some way, shape, or form, was in the service industry.
Yeah.
Whether it be being in, I believe I was in 5 different restaurants. Whether it be as a waiter, a pizza chef, a dishwasher, or working in construction, where I talked face to face with customers as I was fucking putting posts into the ground or whatever. So I definitely have that. But I've always been a really chatty guy. Like,
Yeah. I would say for anybody that's looking to strengthen one skill in specific for business, if you're entering the business world, is to have strong communication skills. Because people can't like, you can think that you can do something, or you can do something, but if you don't communicate it properly, other people don't think that you can,
yeah,
right? So that was a challenge for me, where people would say, oh well, why didn't you do this, right? And I
yeah,
say, I did it. I just didn't say that I did it, right? So there's also finding the balance of, you don't want to annoy people too much, like saying, oh, I did this and I did this and I did this, because then it comes off as like showing off.
yeah,
So yeah, communication, and that really only comes with experience. Like for me, what I found was, when you get a task, you ask questions, what they want to see, and then you show a final result. You don't say, like, you ask questions, you do it. And a lot of people will say, oh, well, they didn't give me instruction and stuff like that. Obviously not. They're not going to sit there and guide you through every single process, because they also don't know.
yeah.
Right?
They just tell you what to do, and you have to find a way to do it.
Yeah, they're like, okay, well, we want, let's say for marketing, we want 1,000 followers and 10 posts. You don't have to come to them and say, oh, well, today I followed 100 people and I got 50 followers back and I made 2 posts about this and this. They don't care, right?
No, you only tell them what you did if they really ask you.
Yes, exactly.
Like if like in that scenario, right? If you go to the boss and you're just giving them a rundown of
What you did.
then they're like, what the fuck? But let's say you get like 500 followers in a day, the boss might come to you and be like, oh, how'd you do that? And then you'd be like, oh, this is what I did, right?
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, you shouldn't be talking to somebody about every fucking thing you do
Exactly.
unless you're in a team with them or something.
Yeah, but yeah, that's one important skill. But I think for us, or at least specifically for me, my biggest strength is the fact that I'm self-aware, and I think you're probably the same way.
Yeah.
It comes with more experience, but being self-aware, it's so noticeable in the workplace, because people who aren't self-aware are emotional. They want to have their opinions heard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you, like, I didn't start off as the most self-aware person, right? Like, I would also get stressed because I had a lot of work to do and stuff like that. You can't, like, you have to think about it, that they're paying you to do a certain job, and when they tell you, oh, we want it this way, or we want it that way, or change this, change that, it's not a attack on you. It's that they're paying you and they want you to do things a certain way. You can't be like, oh, they don't listen to my ideas and stuff like this, right?
Why don't you ever look and see if your ideas are good or not?
No, that's enough. So this is also another part of being self-aware. I think that I have, and I know that I have good ideas, because, for example, in the cannabis industry, it's hard to get products to be listed on the OCS. Well, basically, the way that cannabis works in Canada is like the LCBO, where you have to pitch it to the government, more or less, and then they pick and choose, right? Yeah. But there's lots of competition. Everybody's doing the same thing. So when we have a meeting about what we're going to pitch or different flavors of products and stuff like that, everybody comes in with, they're coming in hot. Oh, we should do this. We should do this. We should make it like cool and funky, or we should make it clean. And I just sit back and because I'm self-aware, I know that everybody's going to have an opinion, right? Then I sit back. I say, okay, I got you. You want to make it fun. You want to make it clean. You want to do it like this. You want to make it this size. I take all of it, internalize it, and then pitch something that makes everybody like, you can't please everybody, but something that addresses every single point. That's how you make good, proper business decisions, and it becomes apparent when you're self-aware. So,
you know what I realized though when it comes to actual being aware? So when I started my serving, right? Because serving is a predominantly it's female like dominant. It's an area that's mostly dominated by female employees, and I got no problem with that, right? But at the last place that I worked at, it was a bar, and I was one of 2 guy servers, right? And there was about 20 to 25 female servers. So imagine like I'm in the break room just hanging out. All of a sudden, a girl comes in and starts talking to me about like issues with like men in her life or something, right? And she's
leave personal stuff out. But anyway,
no, I'm not gonna give names and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Trust me. But like literally, almost every single girl at that place told me that men are trash. And I'm like, are you not aware that I'm a dude? like, like I look at them.
Emotional. For no reason.
Yeah, and then what's it called? Like, they get upset at me when I'm like, what? Maybe did you do anything maybe wrong? Did you think about it? And they're like, how could I? I'm like, what do you mean? How could you do anything wrong? You could have, like, I'm not telling anyone what they've done wrong and right. I'm like, you're saying that all men are trash, but you haven't met all men. Yeah. You've met, like, let's say if it's dating, you've dated 3 or 4 of them, right? You had some bad luck, or maybe you picked wrong, whatever.
It's because they're not self-aware.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, they're not aware about this kind of stuff. And then when it comes to like talking to tables, I've literally seen these servers bring out their love life to their tables. And then their tables are like, dude, can you just grab me my sandwich?
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, and then what's it called? And then they'll get bad tips, and then they'll blame the men. And I'm just like, dude, you're not being aware of the situation right now. Mm-hmm. You're talking to somebody who's with their fucking wife and kids, trying to have a good time, and then you're talking to them about how bad your boyfriend was to you.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's so many people that, and I always say it, common sense is just not that common. Like, it actually blows my mind. And today, speaking of, well, I guess we'll change the subject here, but today I was grabbing this aroma, and like 9 out of 10 times, no, not 9 out of 10 times.
By the way, Aroma is like a coffee shop that originated from Israel, and it's now in Canada.
My biggest pet peeve is when people take too long to order. Like, I'm saying, like, at a like, you know, you go to Freshie, Aroma, you just like order a coffee, they bring it, you dip, or you could sit down. But you know what I'm saying,
well,
right?
Like the people who look at the menu and like there's all
they
surprised.
Look at the menu. The person in front of me, there's a couple in front of me.
Okay.
They're asking, what size is the medium? It's the one in between the small and the large. Like, it's not a lifetime decision, you know?
Keep in mind, like, these coffee shops literally have the small, like, medium, large cups on display, so you can just look at it.
Yeah, can you make sure you fill it up to the top? They're laughing. I'm sitting just behind them, just like, I'm so fast when I work. I said, this is what I said. I'll get an iced Aroma to go. She said, okay, and I paid. That's it. My wallet was already out. Grabbing my card, I tapped it. I was in and out within like 10 seconds, right?
And you know the person behind you is like thankful that you fucking were.
Yeah, like, why is it never like that for me? I've never had someone just like fucking go to the register, know what they want, pay, like, get ready to pay, and just dip. That's it.
Nah, No, like the worst, like especially like in my serving days was when like, so actually no, let me change it, right? So when I would go out with my family, right, just for dinner, like we go out, let's say every Friday, it'd be me, my brother, my mom, and my dad, right? And the lady would be in front of us asking us what we want to eat. And I would just shoot off what I want, right? I'd be like, okay, this is what I want to eat, whatever. And then like somebody in my family would be like, no, how about you get this? I'm like, you couldn't tell me this beforehand?
Yeah,
before they got here?
came.
Yeah. Or like, guys, what would you like as an appetizer? I'm like, why didn't you ask us literally 2 minutes before, right? Mm-hmm. And the waitress is just waiting for us. And I'm looking at her like, like I swear to God, my family will be ordering. Halfway through the order, I'll be like, you know what? We're not ready. Come back in 5 minutes. Yeah. I'm like, we're not wasting your time. You can waste our time.
That's a class move right there.
It is. And they would get mad at me. They would just get, I'm like, why you didn't figure out what you want to eat.
Yeah. If you like either at a restaurant before, unless it's like All-Star wings, they just have like 100 different flavors with no description on them. There's no way to know, right?
Yeah, in that case, yeah.
But in terms of like just sitting in a line or the average restaurant, you should know what you want before you order. I feel like that should just be like a common thing, right?
Yeah.
Especially like if you're in the line just like getting something to go, what are you doing in the time that you're like before you order that you can't like look at the menu and just choose what you want?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like
so fucking annoying. Then you come, so like what's the sweet thing here? It's like right there. Like
fucking read it. It tells you what's in it.
Yeah.
Like the 4 ingredients are right there. Like I'm not trying to diss my mom at all. Yeah. But like one time she went like on a vacation with her sisters, and me, my brother, and my dad went out to eat. And literally we sat down, we got the menus, right? My dad already knew what he wanted. My brother already knew what he wanted. I already knew what I wanted. So we're like, okay, do you guys want to get an appetizer? Yeah, sure. Let's get one thing. Okay, Jamie pick. Cool. I like that. The waitress comes. 15 seconds. I want this to start, and then we want this, and we're good. Maybe we'll get some dessert after. She looks at us, and we look back at her. We're like, before she says anything, oh yeah, our mother's on vacation.